The review of the Army of Death continues. This is Bruce and Studs, and we have taken a look at two units that have come out with JoyToy. The first unit we've taken a look at, obviously, is the leader, which is the Necron Overlord. And then the second unit that we've taken a look at are the Necron Immortals. And obviously, we have a third one that we need to take a look at, which was recently released, which are the Deathmarks, which are the elite snipers of the Necron army. I'm really excited to get into this review, so there's nothing to do except get down to the sniper review.
Unsealing the snipers. Revealing the snipers. And opening up the cover.
All right, ahead of us are the deadly Deathmarks, the elite units of the Necron army. So in Spruce and Studs fashion, we're always going to have an in-depth look on this action figure. So looking at the Deathmark itself, this is a very, very unique looking figure, and it's got a very cyclopean look to him about his head area. Since we're focused on the head already, let's just take a look at it. So you basically have a completely bone white face for the mask, I guess, of this Deathmark. And then you have, again, the cyclopean eye that you see over here. And the eye is obviously painted a light green, and it has been slightly gloss coated, so it gives a little bit more life and vibrance and glowiness to this eye. And you can see that this area has been very well shaded here. The shade actually is just within the crevices and does not bleed out. The same thing goes with this mouth area over here. It is shaded very nicely. Now we're going to take a look at the shoulder/carapace area of this action figure, and you get to see a lot of highlighting that's going on, which is really nice to see. I'll bet I have to say it's kind of messy and imbalanced here. But anyways, there is a dry brushed white edge highlighting over here, and there are two little green lights on the side and these green orbs as well on the back of this carapace. And you can see that it also follows what we've seen across the Necron line. We got these darker green color and then lightens up to a lighter green color and is finished off with this like gloss coat. Then we're going to move on to this middle area of the Necron, and we get to see what we've seen before pretty much, which is like this burnt looking darker color shading that's going on. And then it progresses on to the very, very distinct Necron symbol that's in the middle. Taking a look at the arms, and this is actually really no different from the Necron Immortal that we reviewed not too long ago. You get to see darker burnt ends of this armor panel, then it progresses to this lighter colored bronze, and then progresses to this darker color again. There are a bunch of highlights that you can see with the elbow joint, some highlighting with the forearm. Taking a look at the lower end of this Deathmark, you get to see the guts, which is a bunch of wiring that's been highlighted. And this motif is actually what you find on the Immortal. And then this area progresses to the spinal column that's been dry brushed a light white color. Then the pelvic region down here as well. So this looks properly skeletal, like how it's supposed to look. And then the leg area follows the exact same format and motif as the arms as well as the Necron Immortals. So we're going to flip this around and then just take a look at this vertebra here. And the vertebra is also edge highlighted, a nice white color. So you can see all the edge highlighting here. And the vertebra here is also made of a soft plastic material. And then at the end of the vertebra, which is completely different from the other Necrons that we have reviewed, is this glowy orb here. With the other Necrons, they usually have like a wire that's attached over here that powers some sort of weapon, but I believe that the synaptic disintegrators are completely self-powered here. And speaking of synaptic disintegrators, we're going to take a look at this very wicked looking weapon. So you have the trigger area that is edge highlighted here, and then the stock has some sort of highlights on the back of it. And then you get to see the business area where this synaptic disintegrator gets its energy from. And you can see these energy coils right here. It's actually kind of cool looking, seeing this like glowy green right here. So this hose has a dark green area and progresses to a lighter green, which is what I would like to see here, but it still looks really cool. And then I guess you have some sort of energy balls up here. I'm not exactly too sure what is the function of this thing. Maybe these things serves as like a glorified scope. And then looking at the very, very long barrel of this energy weapon, you get to see this dark gunmetal color. It has not been highlighted, but I will let you know that it's really nice to see these glowy elements right here. I really like this weapon. I am a big fan of sniper rifles, so I think that JoyToy did a very good job. So I'm going to do a quick look and overview of the second Deathmark, and just by cursory glance, this is 100% the same. Now I'll comment on this thing again as I commented on the Necron Immortal review. What I find interesting and missing is that we do not have any battle damage on this Deathmark. It would have been nice to see the characteristic dings in the armor, the scrapes, the battle damage. It's just sadly completely missing, and I wish that it was actually there. So anyways, let's just take a quick look at the movement of this Deathmark, and it's probably going to mimic that of the Necron Immortal. So you have a lot of side-to-side motion that is possible. There is very minimal up and down motion that you can find. You don't 360-degree rotate this head. However, you can 360-degree rotate this arm. As you saw, lateral movement of the arms back and forth. And then about the elbow joint, this is the maximum you can bend it like that, but you can bend it in front like this, a little bit more than 90 degrees. 360 degrees rotation about the forearm, as you can see here. And then 360 degree movement about the wrist area. There is very limited wobble motion, as you can see here. Just like with the Necron Immortal, down here, there is a ball and socket joint that you can pivot this 360 degrees. So this area, you can pivot around 360 degrees. Independent of this part. And then about the pelvic joint, this is also 360 degrees of motion. Then some lateral movement back and forth like this. Looks like it's doing a pirouette right here. And then, just like with the Immortal cousin, or brother, however you want to call it, maximum extension going forward like this, but you can push this back. 360 degree motion about the knee area. And then with the ankle joint, you can pivot this up and then back like that, and no lateral motion whatsoever. Oh yeah, before I close this out, I completely forgot to do this. I forgot to arm the Immortal. So the first thing that we're going to do is to have the Immortal wrap his very large hands around the trigger area. And then finally, what we're going to have him do is to wield the bottom of the disintegrator right here. So we're going to flare out the hands right here and have him wield the disintegrator properly. And there you go, a fully decked out Deathmark. Ah, gotta love the Deathmarks, the elite snipers of the Necron army and society. So what did you all think of these lovely, lovely snipers based on my review? Are these action figures that you would consider getting? Are they something that you're going to pass on? Let me know in the comments section what you thought of these action figures. So what do I think of these guys? Again, I am very biased in that Necrons are my second favorite Xenos army. I am also very, very biased to sniper type units. I love sniper units. And these guys completely fulfill that role for me. I love how these guys look. They're elite, they're lithe, and they're, well, stealthy looking, in my opinion. I really like how these Deathmarks have their cyclopean eyes over here that are glowing. And then, obviously, they follow the same entire motif of the Necron Immortals, so there's nothing too much different about that. But the thing that really makes them stand out is the synaptic disintegrators. I love how much detail that has been put with these disintegrators, especially with, the energy area where it powers the disintegrator, and then with all these orbs that are going on over here, and then as we are progressing through the barrel of the gun, you see all this energy pulsating and glowing all throughout the weapons. So are these guys worth getting? Obviously, my opinion is very biased in that, well, to be honest, I'd probably get any and every Necron unit that would ever be released. I have to say, for a casual person that's just collecting these action figures, yeah, you're probably going to pass on this one. If you're looking for somebody to oppose the Space Marines for your posing and dioramas and stuff, then I would probably go for the Necron Immortals, as they are more common and more popular than these Deathmarks over here. So that's my take on it. This is Sprues and Studs. Thank you again for watching these videos so religiously, week in and week out. If these in-depth reviews are exactly what you like, so please consider subscribing, as it helps out the channel very, very much. So once again, thank you for your support, and I'll see you all in the next one.